So now it's a separate file. So we just finished unfinished business, sort of. And now we're going to do the classic 1980s. I'm going to read a little bit from Wikipedia here about it. Twilight 2000, the role-playing game. Yeah, Drake, you should get the... It's all to your right over there. You should have had all that out before.
Yeah, but...
You need to get the box and everything. Okay.
Excuses.
You can't tell he's my son the way I talk to him differently than everybody else. Sorry.
I was looking for more ways to make that vehicle even worse.
Twilight 2000 is a role-playing game set in the aftermath of World War III, the Twilight War. The premise is that the United States/NATO and the Soviet Union/Warsaw Pact have fought a lengthy conventional war, followed by a limited nuclear war with all its consequences. Characters in the game are survivors of the war. And in this case, usually military. Let's see, I'm trying to get my... Oops. Come on. Scroll down. All right. The adventures of Twilight 2000 typically involve a military unit which was stranded in Central Europe after the nuclear war and places emphasis on attempting to realistically depict military and social systems after a nuclear war. The war, as it continues on from 1997, has aspects of the broken-backed war theory, wherein a catastrophic nuclear exchange occurs between two belligerents and is then followed by a continuation of conventional war. The manufacturer of the game, Game Designers Workshop, GDW, which is now owned by Tantalus. I did not know that. I thought they were just gone. Extended the timeline of Twilight 2000 to create the background history for the science fiction game 2300 AD. By doing so, the rather depressing post-nuclear environment of Twilight 2000 is mitigated by the outcome in which the Earth rebuilds itself and begins to colonize space. And I never did play that one. Did anybody ever play that?
I never even heard of it.
Okay, no, I was aware of it. I never played it. Far Future Enterprises has reprinted... Oh, I didn't know this. Far Future Enterprises has reprinted the first edition of Twilight 2000 in hard copy paper format, and both the first edition and version 2.2 are available in CD-ROM format. Versions 2.0 and 2.2, both using the system that became standard for GDW's games, are currently available in watermarked PDF format from drivethrurpg.com, as are the first edition rules. I didn't know they reprinted it. That's awesome if they did. That means we can use it if that's the case.
Yes.
Let me find out if that's still the case, because sometimes these Wikipedia entries can be a little out of date.
What?
You
Careful,
go
dude.
with that chair. It's like
Yeah,
every time it's falling back.
It's trying to kill me. I'm telling you.
You sure it's not a system?
And there was a cousin game to Twilight 2000 called Merc 2000, which is the mercenary version. So you guys started as a military unit, then Merc 2000 is mercenaries instead. But it was the same setting.
Dun dun dun.
Do you believe this is my chair?
Laying
What
down
do you
the
do with
hammer?
my sledgehammer?
I'm just hamming it up.
Bang, bang, Maxwell's silver hammer came down
But
upon
that is
your
my
head. Well, hang on, I'm reading. All right.
Listen here, John Henry.
So,
He's a bit too light to be that.
Far
Well, I mean,
Future
either way, he dies in the end.
Enterprises.
True.
Far Future Enterprises. I've never heard of them. FFE, farfuture.net.
I can't remember what movie it was. It was like a gangs, and there was a duel with sledgehammers.
I think I've seen a duel of sledgehammers.
So,
Yeah.
I don't remember where from though.
they're reprints of classic role-playing games, including GDW's Traveler, 2300 AD, Twilight 2000, and Dark Conspiracy. Classic reprints, hard copy. This is on farfuture.net. If this is available in hard copy,
You're getting it.
hardcover books.
This box looks like it's been used before.
Nah. That's just how
Okay,
it
Twilight
came.
2000.
Gosh.
It's $35 for the
Cover out.
hard copy.
That's it?
How much?
It depends on what it includes.
Everything.
I hope so. It's
Including
not
your
very
soul.
detailed. Doesn't really say much. I'll have to read more about that but yeah, you can print it. You can get a hardbound copy in Yay! That makes it eligible.
How much did you say it was?
$35.
Oh.
That's what you should have done for Missed Heroes.
Twilight 2000. That's very different.
Not a blast.
Definitely not heroic. At least no requirements there.
Heroic, briefly.
So Twilight 2000's success as a game can be attributed in part to its manner of presenting a military background and setting without hemming the players into a military command structure. The civilian governments of most countries in the game have been shattered. France and Belgium quit NATO and thus largely escaped war damage, with the U.S. government splitting into the civilian and military governments, as has the military chain of command, supply lines, etc. The various military forces are presented as being much weaker than their stated sizes, occupying civilian territories and relying on civilians for food and small-scale manufacturing, and recruiting from civilian populations to some extent. This all means that the players can feel they are part of a military of some sort without their characters being forced to submit to higher military authority. Players generally can choose whether they want their characters to try to continue the war, get back home, wherever that may be, join one of the new power groups wherever they are, simply survive as mercenaries or marauders, or some combination. In 1990, realizing that the game's background was in danger of becoming obsolete because of the fall of the Berlin Wall and the fall of the Soviet Union, GDW published Merc 2000, an alternative campaign setting which revolved around mercenaries fighting brush fire wars in the time in which Twilight War never occurred. After Merc 2000 was released, many supplements and articles printed in GW's Challenge magazine featured Twilight 2000 with equipment and background conversions to Merc 2000 or Merc 2000 only. I never did try Merc 2000. That might solve something. In 1991, GW licensees Paragon developed the Twilight 2000 computer game adaptation, which I do have. That's right there. John, if you want to grab that yellow box.
Yep.
Now, this is 1991. So these are floppy disks.
Back in the Stone Age.
These are 3.5-inch floppy disks, if I remember correctly. 640K of RAM required, IBM AT, PS1, PS2, and compatibles. That's not PlayStation, by the way, those of you who are younger. Hard disk required, because a lot of computers didn't have hard drives back then. Supports VGA 256 color or MCGA 256 color. So those were video formats.
Kind of a high-end
256 color.
1991.
That was mid. Supports mouse and joysticks, mouse preferred. Mouses were not a common thing back then. Mice were not. Supports AdLib, Roland, Sound Blaster, Kovacs, or Sound. Those are all sound cards.
Sound Blaster.
Yeah. So, yeah, IBM 3.5-inch. So, let's do the time warp again. 3.5-inch floppy disks. In really good shape.
My computer can handle that.
I still have some that can. I keep mine.
No, I'm thinking my computer's too low end.
I still have a working Amiga 2000 that can do music and MIDI and everything. I do it when I do my music performances at that exam.
I need to bring you my Amiga, see if you can get it to working.
Cool. Yeah, and I've got 3 floppy drives and a CD-ROM drive and a hard drive. A couple hard drives. I did the upgrade, so it was like 68.30. So, I wonder what that is. Oh, some other games are stuck in here. I think that's to my Amiga. Why is that in there? So yeah, there's a rule book for it. Lots of stuff. So yeah, the graphics are epically high-end graphics.
Gosh. Nice match.
I never actually played this game. I should try to set it up and see what it's like at some point, just to check it out. See what kind of role-playing aspect it has or not.
Maybe it'll be the best game you've ever played. As you have to swap floppy disks every few minutes.
No, usually you load them up into RAM. If you've got a hard drive, then you can just save it with a hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. I lost my place here. Let's see. Oh, and then they had a adaptation complete with expansion, The Colonel, depicting a squad of 20 soldiers stranded behind enemy lines in Poland, struggling against the despot Baron Czarny. Oh, that sounds fun. The game was first published in 1984 during the Cold War and was intended to be an accurate depiction of a possible future, but events in the world have rendered the premises of the game an alternate history. In 1995, a series of Sino-Soviet border conflicts expanded in general war. Okay, this is all the background history. All right, I'll get out of the seat here so that Drake can go ahead and start to have us make characters. Did you leave me a character sheet there as well so I can...
Yup.
Good.
You will be well prepared.
Let me get out of the way. That's right.
You are but a small player and victim of my will.
Okay, well, so as Robin's Laws talked about game masters who are control freaks, we are not, but apparently he is.
You may not speak unless spoken to.
So, Robin's Laws apply to some game
I
masters.
do believe this is the Robinson Law now.
No. Okay, if you say so. Yes, Master Game Master. Yes, Master Blaster.
Take a keyboard too, please.
I will in a minute. I only have so many hands.
Grow a third one.
I don't think
I don't
Look,
remember
you
what
grew a
movie
third
that was in
hand.
where they fought with sledgehammers.
Break. Why couldn't you just wait instead of breaking my electronic equipment?
Because he was only using a third
Grow a
instead of
third
four.
hand.
I had to come back here anyway.